13 states benefit from federal government's Renewed Hope housing initiative.
By now, we can say the policies have started yielding very positive effect. The dollar is coming down, the price of oil is coming down, the price of foodstuff are coming down.
NNPC Limited plans to add electric vehicle charging stations to retail outlets.
NNPC hospitals continue to play a pivotal role in improving healthcare access and saving lives.
Angolan businessman excretes 120 wraps of cocaine at Kano Airport.
And on Good Morning Nigeria today, we shall discuss the 2025 Appropriation Act plus 2025 Ramadan fast.
President Bola Ahmed Tinubu signed the 2025 Appropriation Act known as Budget of Restoration on Friday, February 28th.
And that same day, the Sultan of Sokoto, Mohammed Saad Abubakar, announced that Saturday would mark the beginning of Ramadan. You'd say the timing.
Yes, indeed, Yenre. And speaking of timing, this budget is coming at a crucial moment for Nigeria's economy.
Absolutely. It aims to restore stability, create jobs, and of course, reduce poverty.
Okay, let's look at the key figures of the budget now. Key figures are 34.82 trillion naira in projected revenue, 47.90 trillion naira in government spending, and 15.81 trillion naira for debt servicing.
And of course, a budget deficit of 13.08 trillion naira, that's 3.89% of GDP. There's also an ambitious plan to bring inflation down from 34.6% to 15% by the end of the year.
Yeah, and an exchange rate projection is put at 1,500 naira to a dollar, down from the former 1,700.
Good way to go. Some economists have said. Now to the sectoral allocations, 4.91 trillion naira it's for security, 4.6 trillion naira for infrastructure, and 3.52 trillion for education. Health would go up 2.48 trillion naira.
Cool. Clearly, a focus on security, infrastructure, and human capital development, you will say.
Yeah, that's a focus on Good Morning Nigeria. Today we'll break down the numbers, let you know the details, the priorities, and what this means for us as Nigerians. I am Yenre John.
And I'm Ademola Adoye. Welcome to the program. Newspaper review is lined up with Chukudi Okuli Ubaja.
But for now, let's pause at this point and let the beautiful Stella Inamete lead us to the morning news this beautiful Monday morning. Stella, good morning to you. How do you feel? It's March.
I'm good, feeling very well. And you're looking good too.
Thank you.
Here's the morning news. The Minister of State Housing and Urban Development, Yusuf Abdullahiata, says the federal government is executing the Renewed Hope Housing Initiative in 13 states of the Federation. The minister, who made this known during a media engagement in Kano, emphasizes that the project is to address the housing deficit in the country.
By now, we can say the policies have started yielding very positive effect. The dollar is coming down, the price of oil is coming down, the price of foodstuff are coming down. So we should continue to pray to Almighty God to assist our president, assist all the policies he has come with.
NNPC Limited is projecting adding electric vehicle charging stations as add-ons to their retail outlets. Chief Corporate Communications Officer Femi Soneye says This is in line with the company's proactive diversification strategy.
We are committed to adding value to various sectors and communities across Nigeria. I am glad to let you know that through our NNPC Foundation, we have conducted 1,000 free cataract surgeries in the southwest of Nigeria. Over 180 accident victims rushed to our hospitals, received essential medical services in various areas in 2024. NNPC hospitals continue to play a pivotal role in improving healthcare access and saving lives.
The Renewed Hope initiative of President Bola Ahmed Tinubu on food security is a significant milestone to actualizing the country's socio-economic targets. This is a remark by the Bauchi State Governor Bala Mohammed at the commissioning of the Irrigate Nigeria project.
We will continue to invest in human capital, technology and innovative agricultural policies to make Nigeria self-sufficient in food production as per the vision of Mr. President.
Operatives of the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, have arrested a 42-year-old Angolan businessman at the Malam Aminu Kano International Airport, Kano, for attempting to traffic a large consignment of cocaine to Istanbul, Turkey. This is among other interdictions in different parts of the country as part of war against illicit substances across the country. The suspect, who is from Angola, was arrested on Tuesday, 25th February 2025, at the screening point of the Kano airport while trying to board a plane to Istanbul, Turkey, via Cairo. Body scan results confirmed he ingested illicit drug, after which he expelled 120 pellets of cocaine weighing 1.829 kilograms in 7 excretions. A similar attempt by an auto spare parts dealer to send 2 parcels of 1.10 kilogram cocaine concealed in vehicle propellers to Angola through the export shed of the Murtala Mohammed International Airport, Ikeja, Lagos, was also thwarted by NDLEA operatives who arrested him on Monday, 24th February. At the Tinkan Seaport in Lagos, NDLEA operatives on Friday, 28th February, discovered a total of 128 parcels of Canadian loud concealed in 2 mattresses in the trunk of a Toyota Venza car imported from Canada. Owner of the shipment has been arrested and taken into custody. Operatives in Kwara State on Monday, 24th February, nabbed a Benenua with 2,980 tablets of tramadol and dozens of diazepam pills at Enyenkorin Expressway, Ilorin. Edo, Maiduguri, Ibadan, and Zamfara were among the flashpoints during the review. Nigeria Labour Congress, NLC, is on the view that the planned reclassification of electricity consumers by the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission, NERC, will deepen the misery of many Nigerians if those at the lower band are forcefully migrated to Band A. NLC made the remark in a communique issued at the end of its National Executive Council NEC meeting in Yola, Adamawa State, where it says Nigerian workers will massively protest the decision if implemented. The union also threatened to shut down operations of telecommunications companies should they fail to implement the 35% tariff hike agreed upon with the government, as against the 50% earlier approved through the Nigeria Communications Commission, NCC. The meeting also witnessed the inauguration of the compressed natural gas CNG-driven mass transit buses for the northeast zone of Nigeria, donated by the federal government to ease workers' transportation plight. And those are the news highlights for now. Good Morning Nigeria continues with Ademola and Yeri after this break.
شهر رمضان الذي أنزل فيه القرآن
Nigeria Television Authority, NTA, Federal Radio Corporation of Nigeria, FRCN, and Voice of Nigeria, VON, cordially invite the general public to its 19th annual Ramadan lecture. Topic: Faith, Politics and Power, the involvement of ulama in politics and its implications. Guest lecturer, Sheikh Maruf Onike Abdulaziz, Chief Missioner, NASFAT Worldwide. Chairman of the occasion, Idi Mukhtar Meha, Minister of Livestock Development. Special guest of honor, Muhammad Idris, Minister of Information and National Orientation. Royal Father of the Day, His Highness Mala Ahmed Nuhu Bamali, Emir of Zazzau. Chief host, His Excellency Malang Ubasani, the Executive Governor, Kaduna State. Host, Malang Salihu Abdul Hamid Dembos, Director General, NTA. Dr. Muhammad Bulama, Director General, FRCN. Malang Jibril Babandachi, Director General, Voice of Nigeria. Venue, Lumana Multipurpose Center, River Close, off Jabi Road East, off Sultan Road, Kaduna. Date, 8 March 2025. Time, 9 a.m. Inshallah. For partnership or advert placement. Announcer, Organizing Committee.
From the Atlantic across the savannah to the Sahara, we rise, a land of the free, we know they tire. We dream great, our spirit is undying.
Resilient, rooted like palm tree, we sway in colors, we turn dark into light, we build solutions, we ignite passion, yeah. Ethnicity is unique, we have more than just a nation.
We are Nigeria, strengthening unity. We know they carry lives. We are Nigeria, together live the dream of a land with great destiny. We are Nigeria.
I am the real Nigerian. Brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
Have you heard the news? The federal government of Nigeria, through its direct benefit transfer program, has started the disbursement of 75,000 naira per household in 3 installments of 25,000, 25,000, 25,000 naira. Each recipient must have a validated national identification number, NIN, to receive the payment on behalf of their household members. To benefit, your household must be in the National Social Register of Poor and Vulnerable Households in Nigeria. The federal government's direct benefit transfer program is helping to reduce the effect of suffering while promoting financial and economic inclusion for the poor and vulnerable population in Nigeria.
Sunana Safiya Ismail, ni daga Gwagwalada Area Council a karkashin Giri. Ina da yara 7 da mijina. Sana'ana sadda itace. Akwai damuwomi da yawa, rashin kudi. Da musanta zaka ga itace zai kare, ba kudi ne zaka siya wani. An kira ni, ayi Safiya Ismail, nace yes. Come for your benefits at Angondo do Gwagwalada. Suka bani ATM din, immediately na withdraw kudi na. Amman gaskiya kudin ya zo at the right time.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and National Orientation, Federal Ministry of Humanitarian Affairs and Poverty Reduction, in collaboration with the National Social Investment Programs Agency, National Social Safety Nets Coordinating Office, and the National Cash Transfer Office.
The National Institute of Construction Technology and Management, a federal polytechnic located in Uromi, Edo State, is the first of its kind in Nigeria, empowered to give a seamless transition of students from vocational colleges at the secondary level to technical institutions at the tertiary level.
The institute currently has 14 programs running in 4 schools to choose from. They include School of Applied Sciences, School of Business and Management Studies, School of Engineering Technology, and School of Environmental Technology. These courses have all been accredited by the National Board for Technical Education, NBTE. The school also has short professional certificate courses for skilled and unskilled artisans willing to upgrade themselves in their chosen fields. Post-UTME screening forms for the 2024-2025 academic session into the institute are out and can be obtained directly from the school at Uromi, Edo State, or online at www.nict.edu.ng. The institute admits candidates for preparatory evening classes. Please call 0706-855-0220 or 0915-955-9939 for more information.
NICTM, Technology for Service.
Grab joy. Unleash taste.
What wakes you up in the morning? Is it the sunrise? Is it the alarm? No. It's your dream that wakes you every day. It's what drives you like a powerful engine. That's why you start strong every day with the rich, creamy taste of Nescafe 3-in-1, carefully crafted from selected coffee beans. You're on your hustle, and you won't stop until you succeed. Start strong. Finish strong.
No buy am. But why? No see say this big bull bag of rice no get the new big bull holographic seal. Not true.
Introducing the Big Bull Holographic Seal Tape, your favorite authentic Big Bull rice, 50 kg and 25 kg. Now with holographic seal tape. This is to ensure you get the premium product from Big Bull Rice. Do not buy if the holographic seal tape is not on the bag or is broken. Big Bull Rice. Tasty rice nourished you.
Little body, big moves. Little brain, big learning. Your little child is eager to do big things. Every sachet comes with the nutrients they need every day. Made from natural grains, contains protein and fortified with iron to support their physical growth, learning, and development. So you can fully enjoy your little one's big moments of growth.
Imagine lovely meals you can cook with these ingredients. You spend heavily, but no guarantee of a tasty meal. Not making a right choice of seasoning cube can ruin your meal, money, and confidence. For a tasty meal, do not compromise. Choose Gold.
Use Terra Gold for the rich, consistent taste your loved ones crave for. Good for soups, stews, and jollof. Terra Gold. 1 cube, endless possibilities.
Nigeria is perched on the treasure trove of solid minerals. Gold, coal, tantalum, tin, but none is more critical to our future or the world's future like lithium.
Let's talk about illegal mining operations. What is our strategy?
Thanks for staying with us. You're still on to Good Morning Nigeria on the network service of the NTA. Up next is the newspaper review segment. Stay with us.
We have our newspaper reviewer Chukwudi Okoli Ogbaja with us this morning. Good to see you in March 2025. How are you doing?
I rested so well this weekend.
It's
I
showing.
feel as fit as a fiddle and strong as a horse. Demola must be jealous. Good morning, Demo.
No,
How are you doing?
I'm happy for you.
You look equally refreshed.
I am. Thank you.
We're in the same boat.
So, because both of you are refreshed, I should say that I'm sandwiched between two young men this morning.
Oh, we are.
Will it be appropriate to say young men?
Forever young.
Okay. Anyways, let's get into the papers quickly and see what they're offering. The People's Daily leads this morning, and the lead story here says NLC rejects electricity tariff adjustment, threatens nationwide protest. And away from that, below the picture story, we have some politicians derive joy in escalating insecurity for political interest. And that's credited to Obasani. Below that, Dangote to refund customers who purchase PMS above advertised rates. Interesting. That's on page 19. And below, beside that, Turkey-bound businessman excretes 120 wraps of cocaine at Kano Airport. Onayekon urges Christian-Muslim unity during Lent, Ramadan. Details on page 6. And on page 7, 3 arrested on killing teen over 400,000 naira fraud in Jigawa. That's on page 7 of the People's Daily. Let's look away from the People's Daily now and see what the national economy is offering. National economy looks very lean on the front page. The lead story here says, amidst housing deficits, estate agents extort tenants with dubious listings charges. The riders license all real estate agents to curb fraud. Consumer rights advocates urge government. We need standardized fee structure. Tenants tell government. All right. And we have a picture here, picture of some houses in Lagos. Away from that, in a red strip, Lagos Calabar Highway, that's the kicker. A game changer or costly gamble. Details on page 12. All right, Demola.
Thank you, Yere. I have this Nigerian newspaper with me, and just beside the nameplate we have Ways and Means. Stakeholders urge Senate to invite Obazi on CBN investigation. Details on page 5. Nigerians decry deaths through wrong diagnosis. Details of that story can be found on page 4. Comply with Supreme Court judgment. Rivers Elders Council tells Fubara Amewule. Governor sacks all local government chairmen. Details of that story can be found on page 20. Federal government turning appointments of VCs to constituency projects, says SANU. Deploys poor funding of varsities. Details of that story can be found on page 5. And the front page picture, we have the president there signing the 2025 appropriation bill into law. With him the chairman of the Senate committee, the Senate president, the chief of staff, and other government officials. Chooks, it's over to you.
Thank you, Demola. Let me start with what concerns practically every one of us. That's about the NLC rejection of electricity tariff hike. It means protests could be imminent. Naturally, going forward is going to remain a seesaw or tug of war, affair. The consumers of electricity are not having it any easy because their spending power has been greatly reduced. The people who are supplying the power itself are also going through a lot of hassle. They are not quite breaking even. So at the end of the day, they have to work together like people who have the same purpose.
That's what they say. The rich also cry.
The rich also cry. Because the rich has expenditure. In fact, he spends more money than you and me. I don't know whether you've joined them. I'm still among the people. He looks at all the money that comes in within the month, and he's saying this one goes to this community, this one goes to that. Sometimes you're better because you're just looking after your immediate family. So sometimes riches in Africa could come as a curse to some people. It depends on the amount of a nightmare it gives you.
No. If the riches you are using to impact lives,
thank you. If you're using the riches to impact life, make the environment a better place, bring smiles to people's lips. That's an entirely different kettle of fish. Is that how riches are spent in Africa? That's the problem. But quickly, they are also asking, that is the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission is asking DISCOs to publish, refund of meter prices, to that's what you spend to buy your meters, how you refunded it. The NERC wants to know, and this is quite positive because it argues for us. I paid 154,000 naira for a three-phase meter about a year ago, so I'm quite interested in where this story goes at the end of the day, because we feel shortchanged most of the time. Nobody seems to be helping us guard against exploitation. But those giving you supply of whether it's electricity or telephone facilities and all that would also tell you that they are in trouble themselves. This one is very important. Set aside reft. Comply with Supreme Court judgment. Rivers Elders Council tells Fubara Amewule. Rivers people, Nobody should be jubilating over, I saw them all on TV and all that. If this judgment goes strictly in favor of anybody, and that somebody thinks we are now the matadors, we've killed the bull and all that, it will boomerang later. Let them sit down and say, this didn't have to happen. Whatever the judgment is, how do we now begin to administer our river state for the benefit of everybody? If they don't do that, no Supreme Court, they solve anything, my brother.
That's a no victor, no vanquish.
That's it. Men who have gray hair that has come from aging should step into this matter and call them all and say, this is not a fight that will leave anybody really victorious.
Because when two elephants fight, it's the grass that will suffer.
Exactly.
It's the people, the state.
That is the point of it.
The people, the states.
Now, talking about people suffering, away from River State, now this affects every part of Nigeria. It's this headline on This Nigeria. It's a worrisome headline.
What is it?
It says Nigerians decry deaths through wrong diagnosis. We know we had the Jackman syndrome with us, so a lot of doctors, if you like, qualified doctors are leaving the country. So that leaves just a few qualified, and of course those who want to pose as doctors. So a lot of quacks, trying to get people treated, and that's leading to, improper diagnosis. And of course, people are dying as a result of it. And this is the president of the Resident Doctors Association crying out, talking about this. I mean, this is a serious situation.
Let me give you a personal experience. I took a patient I've been administering, or rather looking after, for the past 1.5 years now. His urethra cut. He's had the first surgery. We're trying to get a second one. And when we got to where we did the test, please, no names mentioned, the man gave the guy a clean bill of health. I said, no, this is something I've been pursuing. There is a problem somewhere in the urethra close to the bulba. Go and check it again. He checked and said, there's a partial distance there. It's not completely closed, but there's a problem there. If not that he's been my patient, the man would have just said, take this back. There's nothing wrong with the guy, but he can't urinate properly. So that is the point they are making. It's not that they have become incompetent. Sometimes these people are so distracted that...
Overworked sometimes?
That is the point, my dear. Nigerian doctors and nurses are very competent people. I found out in the past 1.5 years. I haven't come here to advocate for anybody. It's just that when you see things, say them the way they are. We need to give them a conducive atmosphere to work and give us accuracy.
No, of course, no one is contesting the fact that Nigerian doctors are qualified and they know what you're doing. But we're saying that the fact that there's a gap, because the health professionals that are available in the country are few. Yes. A lot of people who are not qualified, who probably just went to one teaching school somewhere,
yes.
those who even read mass comm like me or something, are now practicing as
are now carrying the stethoscope, and then was the one that the doctor wears. Maybe they even take the scalpel, carrying it like a knife.
The quacks are taking advantage of the economic situation in the country. Because of the pockets of the people, they cannot afford to really go to the so-called
that's true.
hospital.
You're
so
right.
they just visit all these quacks. They go to chemist shops and all that. And that's where they get all these wrong diagnoses and all that. So it's really unfortunate.
The situation has submitted them to quackery.
Yes, that's it.
That is unfortunate.
It is.
I keep on saying that government should do everything. After pleading that dialysis, please be made free. I say health comes first in all the countries we're trying to imitate. They don't joke with it. The NHS in Britain ranks first in terms of priority.
Yeah.
Let's go that way, please.
Well, we will go that way. Thank you so much, Chooks.
Thank you.
For coming this morning.
Thank you,
the month of March. Hope you are marching on.
I always march like the boy I am.
Oh, right.
It's in the mind.
Thank you. So march on as we move on.
Thank you.
Thank you. We'll take a break now. Good Morning Nigeria continues. Stay with us.
The Nigerian national flag represents our country's history, culture, and identity. It was designed in 1959. The colors are Emerald Green 2.0, which represents agriculture, and Immaculate White represents unity and peace. Know how to handle our flag. Illuminate the environment or don't fly the flag overnight. Do not fly a dirty or tattered flag. Take such flag to the nearest National Orientation Agency office for proper disposal and replacement. The national flag can only be flown at half-mast on the directive of the federal government. The national flag must be flown at the same or higher height when displayed alongside other flags. Don't burn or allow the national flag to fall on the ground. Do not print, decorate, modify, or insert the coat of arms on the flag. Our national heroes are not buried with the flag. They are honored by presenting it to their next of kin during interment. Respect our national flag. Be a real Nigerian.
This message was brought to you by the National Orientation Agency, NOA.
The NTA2 Lagos Network Center Muslim community most respectfully invite you to the 12th annual Malam Yusuf Jubal Ramadan Lecture. Venue, NTA2 Lagos Network Center premises, Television House, Ahmadu Bello Way, Victoria Island, Lagos. Date, 2nd Saturday in the month of Ramadan, March 8th, 2025. Time, 10 a.m. prompt. Chief Host, Salihu Abdul Hamid Dembos, Director General, Nigerian Television Authority. Principal Host, Nick Onyishi, Zonal Director, NTA2 Lagos Network Center. Spiritual Father of the Day, Sheikh Suleiman Abunola, Chief Imam of Lagos. Chairman of the Day, Alhaji Abdul Latif Femi Okunu, former National President, Ansaruddin Society of Nigeria. Guest Lecturer, Professor Abdul Kabir Olawale Paramole, Professor of Hadith, Islamic Ethics, Comparative Religion, and Contemporary Studies, Lagos State University, Ojo, and Chief Missionary, Jejewiyat Muslim Association of Nigeria and Overseas. Topic, Muslims and the Economic Realities of Nigeria. Guest Lecturer 2, Alhaji Salmon Abiodun Sani, Chief Imam, Akimboro Central Mosque, Olon Shogo, Mushin, Lagos. Topic, Islamic Parenting, Antidotes to Social Challenges in Nigeria. We look forward to receiving your usual considerable response to grace the occasion. For inquiries, call 08030629590 or 08039642121.
Our major currency unit is the Naira, while the minor unit is the Kobo. They are both in notes and coins. The Naira is more than just a medium of exchange. It bears the images of our heroes. So, stop abusing the Naira. It is a criminal offense to spray the Naira at events. Stop stepping on the Naira. It's not your enemy. Do not squeeze, ruffle, or write on the Naira. Handling the Naira with dirty or oily hands can deface the Naira. Love the Naira as you love yourself. Be a real Nigerian. Do not abuse the Naira.
What more do you need?
Guys, food is ready.
Cook to impress.
At break time, when my champ needs to keep going, he's going to need his favorite snack, containing calcium, iron, and fiber.
Milo Energy Snacks, snack of future champions.
In a world hungry for goodness, a splash of golden Terra oil, a mom can transform a frown into a smile. Make a lunch hour a happy hour. Change no thanks into yes please. Provide care when our nearest and dearest needs it most. And resolve family feuds without blowing a whistle. Providing tasty, nourishing family meals is all that matters. The world needs moms, because where there are moms, there is hope, happiness, and love. Golden Terra Oil, or pure love.
Welcome to Silver Oasis.
Silver Oasis, a TV series dedicated to aging and older persons in Nigeria. Be part of this series and discover the transformative programs crafted to give a new lease of life to our senior citizens, courtesy of the National Senior Citizen Center.
The National Senior Citizen Center is the oasis for the senior citizens.
For thought-provoking discussions on aging, geriatric social care, and issues that matter most to our senior citizens.
Silver Oasis.
Silver Oasis.
Silver Oasis.
Tune in to Silver Oasis on the network service of the NTA every Saturday at 10:05 p.m. Silver Oasis, improving the quality of lives of senior citizens.
Extra-international integrated electricity policy and layers of execution under the present tariff dispensation and bands categorization is our topic on NTA Tuesday Live. Tuesday Live, coming up on the 4th of March 2025 at 10:30 p.m. Tuesday Live, incisive and refreshing as ever. Don't miss it.
All right, welcome back. It's the Good Morning Nigeria live on the network service of the NTA. And just before we get into our conversation this morning, which borders on the 2025 Appropriation Act, let's set a tone for the discussion by taking a look at this background report pulled together by our correspondent, Timothy Yusuf.
President Bola Tinubu had signed Nigeria's 2025 budget, dubbed the Budget of Restoration, totaling 54.99 trillion naira. Described as historic budget by many, it aims to drive economic recovery, stability and growth, with a focus on disciplined spending and revenue generation. The budget prioritizes key areas including national security, geared towards enhancing security measures to protect citizens and promote a safe environment. Infrastructure and energy is another priority area, with deliberate investment in transformative projects like the 750-kilometer Lagos-Calabar Coastal Highway and the 1,068-kilometer Sokoto-Badagry Superhighway. Human capital development is another priority area aimed at boosting education, healthcare and skills development to empower Nigerians. Agriculture and food security occupies the heart of the Tinubu administration, with sectoral allocation targeting enhanced local food production and ensure no Nigerian goes hungry. In the area of social welfare, supporting youth, women and vulnerable citizens through enhanced social welfare programs is another priority of government. President Bola Tinubu emphasized the importance of prudent spending, value for money initiatives, and expanding government revenues through efficiency reforms and enhanced earnings. It will be recalled that President Bola Tinubu presented the initial budget to the National Assembly on December 18, 2024, emphasizing its focus on securing peace and building prosperity. The budget signing marks a significant milestone in the government's efforts to revitalize the economy and improve the lives of Nigerians. Let's now join our guest in the studio for more.
Well, thank you very much, Timothy, for that background report. And we already have our guests seated in the studio to discuss the 2025 Appropriation Act. I would like to introduce first our regular and economist, Yushua Aliyu. You're welcome to Good Morning
Thank
Nigeria.
you. Good morning, Nigeria. Thank you.
All right.
All right, also joining us for the conversation is George Agbakahe. He's a public policy analyst and also a Southeast leader, Tinubu Support Organization. Many thanks for joining us, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Dr. George.
Dr. George, welcome.
Okay, Doctor, thank you so much for coming. And, this budget, Yushua, let me start with you. You were here when we first discussed about this budget about a week ago, and we're looking at how it will impact the average Nigerian. It is already stated that the budget is focusing on security, infrastructure, and human developments. So, I mean, these are present, challenges, that's affecting every day, Nigeria, such as poverty, insecurity, infrastructure deficits. So what's your opinion? How would this actually, get to the average Nigerian?
Economically, a budget is just a projection.
Okay.
And once you project, you put certain commitment in it, which probably will help to bring a value added to the GDP. My opinion is not far from what Mr. President is trying to stress. Based on the highlight, on 18th of December, a budget and appropriation bill was submitted to National Assembly. So from that angle, from that 18th to 28th of February, it's making 72 days for both the executive to approve at the FEC and then for Mr. President to accent the bill. 72 is a good parameter of efficiency as far as budget discharge is concerned. However, it is titled Budget of Restoration. So you are restoring certain fundamentals to put economic to shape. Then how do you understand that there are certain parameters, or we can put it in a more broad sense, macroeconomic parameters that are required? Mr. President has highlighted at the beginning of his reform, it was cloudy and there is level of uncertainty. So these two weights now shape these macroeconomic parameters and how they behave. But from the inception of the restructuring of the economy to February 28, Mr. President highlighted certain target. That is, he's targeting to build up prosperity. Building up prosperity, that's where your questions come in. Now, what is the content? What are the sectoral allocation? And what are the efficiencies expected in this budget? That is what would determine probably what each and individual in the economy can benefit and contribute, because they are synonymous to the GDP in broad sense. Because once an individual who has an income, that disposable income is very necessary to the health of the GDP. How? Now, in ensuring that particular healthy situation of individual income, you look at the general price stability. That general price stability has to do with the purchasing power of individual. And it has to do with the aggregate demand of that individual in an economy. So in broad sense, Mr. President is having a target where no Nigerian will sleep without food on his table. That is a big challenge. And in 2025, what we saw a budget that has an increase of above 35% against 2024 in the first instance, submitting 52 trillion. Then subsequently, now another discovery was made, And that discovery, I want to hit on that. If from the presentation of 52.2 trillion, and then the executive will now deem it necessary to make an increment to have a budget of 54.97 trillion. That is a good intervention, but it has to be with utmost care, not to put the economy again into supplementary budget in 2025, because the adjustment that is required to be done probably with supplementary. Now, from the projection of the government, at early enough, we were able to make that intervention. So if that intervention is believed to be critical, then we have to believe that the sectoral allocation, security in the first instance, that is the first thing that will affect you and I. We need to be secured to be in this studio. Those who are providing what we eat, the farmers, need to be secured to be in their farmlands. And not only that, their mental health, which determines productivity, is also required. So in my own opinion, 54 trillion is...
That is where infrastructure also comes in.
Exactly. But you have to understand the multiplier responsibility of each and every increment in each sector of the economy. Security is a target, like we discussed some time back, that any time under production possibility frontier, you discover large sums of funds of a state is going into security. It means there is going to be more guns to secure than butter to eat. But however, when you now put into relations the 2024 budget against 2025, we are expecting Nigerians to be more productive, because by stabilizing the inflation, particularly with the rebasing of the CPI and other critical reforms, we are expecting consumers to be stable, relatively. Second, we are expecting government also to put more efficiency for the distribution to have a positive effect.
All right, many thanks, usually, for your opening comments there. Comparing the 2024 budget and the 2025, the difference is about 99.96% actually, and the budget is 54.99 trillion naira. Some have said it's not really the biggest, because if you want to check the exchange rate, of course, it's just around what we've always had. But you see, the 2025 budget is, according to a lot of people, is based on an ambitious economic assumptions. Crude oil production target of 2.06 million barrels per day at a benchmark price of $75 per barrel, and also exchange rate at 1,500 as against 1,700, and of course inflation. Well, with the rebasing, we hear it's less than 34.8, but I mean the target is to hit 15% within the year. Looking at these parameters, what are your thoughts about the 2025 budget?
Thank you again for having me. Well, I see the 2025 budget as bold. It's a budget of transformation, and is a budget that encapsulates all, the necessary ingredients, that guide this country. If you look at what the president did, he was able to target certain areas, specifically diversification of the Nigerian economy. For the past, since independence, oil has been the mainstay of Nigerian economy. So the president now is targeting certain sectoral areas like agriculture. He's targeting solid minerals, and if you come to agriculture, livestock ministry is also there. And these are areas that, if nurtured very well, can provide foreign exchange earnings for this country. But more importantly, national security, defense and national security is also critical. I understand it's about 4.9%, 4.9 trillion, for this particular sector. And security, is the foundation of every country, every economy even. If Nigeria is not secured, farmers cannot do their work, cannot go to the farm, students cannot go to school freely, and many other things. And if you look at security, even the current administration, in my own opinion, they've done a whole lot, improving the security situation of this country. If you check, the security index point, you will find out that we have come down, to about 7.8%, compared to about 9% in the past, And according to the recent security report, our security men have been able to apprehend a lot of terrorists. Probably over 8,000 terrorists have been apprehended. Over 11,000 have been rescued. And at the same time, a lot is happening. And when you look at other areas like education is 3.5 trillion naira. And you also have to consider, the very great student loan, which has put smiles on the faces of a lot of parents. On a personal note, in my village in Imo State, as at last 2 years, last 3 years, there are 4 individuals that I train in the university. But for the past 1 year, they get loan to go to school. So it's something that gets across all the parents and guardians in this country. So I see this as a budget, that will revitalize the economy of this country.
When you say revitalize the economy of the country, you started with security, looking at 4.91 trillion budgeted for security. I mean, over the years, we've seen very high budgetary allocations to security, but things have not, well, some say things have improved. But in your own opinion, what should be done differently? I mean, just so that the impacts of, this kind of budget will be felt in as far as security is concerned?
To me, the key is implementation. We urge, the minister, the security chiefs to implement it, properly. That has always been, the problem in the past. But based on the fact that insecurity in Nigeria, it has come down slightly. I'm not saying that there are no traces of insecurity in the land. It has come down, slightly. So with this particular money, based on the targeted areas, you find out that if utilized properly, I think it will be a step in the right direction, and they'll be able to bring absolute, peace, to the country.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Agbakai, for that, your opening shots there. The budget itself, just like you said, is bold. It's a bold step, and also a budget of restoration. Let's come back to Ishao. Ishao, we're looking at how, do you think that this budget can help to, stimulate economic growth now and, and development, particularly in key sectors, like you were mentioning before, the area of agriculture, manufacturing, services, and all that, other areas. Because it's important, just like he said, that we have security. Because without security, the people cannot go to the farm. With their security, I mean, the school children cannot, go to their schools and all that. And this budget actually is one of the key sectors that is focusing on is security, infrastructure, which are, germane, for economic development growth. So what's your take on it? How do you think it will further help to stimulate economic growth?
Obviously, from the restructuring that is going on, you discover the leading sectors in the economy. You cannot underestimate the contribution of the leading sectors. And once you notice a positive development, you have to sustain it. Communication industry. Nigerians are becoming more digital in banking, more digital in e-commerce, more digital. So facilities that are required to make it more productive to continue to bring value added to the GDP are infrastructure and also regulating the industry for maximum efficiency. It is true that once communication is mentioned, you discover that other economies have made use of efficient communication industry to boost agriculture, like Rwandan economy. Nigeria has to take a cue to, after securing the farmlands, now the distribution of inputs for production has to be digitally coordinated so that a local farmer that is in Uguta, not even in Uguta, in a remote village, Ugugwala, in far Egboma, will notice that there is development and there is government and there are facilities for him to improve on his agriculture. Same as Zamfara State, in Moriki, in far northern Maradun area of Zamfara State, where bandits are taking over. So we need to see efficiency as far as communication is concerned, because most of these areas, right from Binungwari to all these areas, are denied opportunity of communication because of the banditry security operative mechanisms. So there is need when the security has improved to allow communication to go to those areas, and also to now introduce a lot of brands that will incorporate farmers to have where to get their input, how to sell their goods, how to supply their goods. That is one. Second, mentally, good mental, physically of a workforce determines its own efficiency.
Okay.
Now, Mr. President has brought an issue in the budget 2025 that minimum wage has come to stay, but observing the rules of engagement in that minimum wage also has to come to play, because there is going to be periodic review, not to allow industrial dispute for efficiency to take effect. There is need to observe the content of agreement for that minimum wage.
Okay.
I'm happy Mr. President is comfortable because he has stressed this point. But other angles that are very necessary are local government autonomy and how they pay 70,000 minimum wage, state also paying this 70,000 minimum wage. Because from the revenue sharing of February of above 1.7 trillion, that has shown that there is much of injections of new funds, which has to be translated so that it can improve the capacity of the consumers to come to the market. On average today, you find prices of goods and services is coming down, but the purchasing power is no longer there, and there is need also to build. That means that if you take communication and add value to it, you go to agriculture and add value to it, you have to also look at the transportation aspect and the price at which it's being operated, not just merely the PMS determinator, which is always showing multiple challenges as far as pricing is concerned, but for industrial output. Industrial output, that is what has come to the notice of Manufacturers Association of Nigeria, telling the world that what they produce in excess of above 2 trillion remain unsold. This is a big challenge. If there is purchasing power, definitely manufacturer will continue to produce and sell, and at the same time add value to the GDP.
Don't you think? I just want to follow.
Yeah.
Don't you think that the reduced purchasing power is a plus, because when you don't have enough money chasing many goods, it brings down the prices of of things in the market. I mean, because some economists will say that supply and demand will determine the price.
Yeah.
When there's so much demand, the prices will go up. But when the demand is less, it forces down,
Science is not fiction.
So it's like a plus in a way. I mean, some economists will argue that when you allow enough, cash flow, then that's why you begin to have more inflation.
Law of gravity. Whatever that goes up must come down. But what level of up are you speaking? Because you shoot different objects, you find different results. Obviously, under microeconomics, the simple laws of demand, B0 minus B1P, B0 negative slope, B1 positive slope, price determination at the center requires a lot of consideration on a relative basis on all economy. You cannot have a population of over 200 million and you have only less than 20% productive enough to be in the market. You understand? And now begin to use that as a rule. What this simply means is that the capacity, once you have a budget of over 45 trillion, look at the pantom, 1,000 million is what is 1 billion. 1 billion, 1,000 is what is 1 trillion. Then you have 54 trillion from the federal government alone. We have not even gone to the state level and see the pantom of budget that is coming out. This shows that this economy is so big and so large that consideration must be given to each and individual household. You cannot say because of the rule of demand that you don't want to have many people. Now, is it prepared for economy to have more people living without food because you want inflation to remain at that level? No. What that means is that individual is a consumer. Under Hicksian analysis, each consumer has multiple choice of goods and services that he uses. Like Dr. George now may prepare akpu, I will prepare tuwo. So this number would be.
will prepare amala.
You prepare amala. So there are bundles of good, but these bundles of good has to be shared, distributed to all households with a minimum comfort, and that is why we need to have additional value of those same people so that the contribution, myself, you, and doctor, will now come back to the GDP. And that is what is translated presently, 3.8% of GDP growth, which is very good, even above IMF and World Bank projection. But when you have more engagement in monetary terms of all goods and services within the economy, it's going to be positive. Remember, Nigeria is targeting $1 trillion economy in the next 4 years. So if you are targeting that, you need efficiency in the banking sector. You need the efficiency of the consumers themselves, what they choose in the market, not merely choosing living like women ostentatiously, buying goods that are expensive. No, minimum comfort is required. Minimum income is required. That's why you have the concept of minimum wage.
Okay, many thanks, Yeshua Adi. A fantastic point that you have made there. Purchasing power is low, and of course, unemployment, we know, is one of the factors responsible for the low purchasing power. But as we move forward in this conversation, one of the plus a lot of people have said about this budget is the fact that for the first time in a very long time, we're not having any allocations to fuel subsidy. And, that's a big plus. You know how much that would have been if we were budgeting, for fuel subsidy. Now, but, let's talk about job creation, because, it's a critical aspect of, boosting the economy. Do you think that this budget in any way would, cater for that aspect, talking about job creation, increasing the purchasing power, like Yeshua Aliyu just mentioned, Dr. Agbakahi?
Yeah, actually, one of the priorities of the budget is job creation. And if you check the sectoral allocation, you find out that Bank of Agriculture as well as Bank of Industry have been marked with over hundreds of billions of Naira in this particular budget. You see, I think the administration believes that, just like every reasonable economist, it's not the duty of the government to provide employment opportunities. The government's duty is to provide the enabling environment whereby the private sectors, will now, provide these employment opportunities. So in that respect, Bank of Agriculture have been mandated to give loans to farmers, small-scale farmers, subsistence farmers. That will, in other words, provide employment opportunity. Bank of Industry, similarly, is now dealing with small and medium enterprises, providing loans and small-scale manufacturers, and that will, in the long run, prevent importation, which is killing us in this country. In the area of agriculture, look at in Nigeria, even with the opening of livestock ministry, prior to that anyway, Nigerians import chicken, Nigerians import fish. There is nothing we do not import. We import eggs to Nigeria. Whereas if you come to Africa, apart from Egypt and perhaps South Africa, we are next in egg production, but we still import. The same thing with chicken, the same thing with fish. So at some point, all this importation needs to stop for our economic growth, to take place effectively. So that is the problem. Bank of Industry, Bank of Agriculture, they have a prominent role to play in the area of employment opportunity. Okay, look at the infrastructural development that is going on in the country. We are well aware of the Lagos-Calabar Superhighway. It's providing employment opportunities as we speak. Badagry, Sokoto Highway, these are trillions of Naira contract. They are providing employment opportunities to engineers, to artisans, as we speak. So most of these things probably are not covered, but that's the truth. The government is doing a whole lot, and with time, things will get better in this country. That is just the truth. It will get better. It may take some time. This is 1 year, second year, it's not even up to 2 years. I think it's 18 months. Now, you find out that when President Tinubu came on board, I think in the first year, our GDP rose by 2.5. Later, it came, I think sometime in the first or second quarter of last year, it came to 3 point something. Today, as we speak, it has gone up 3.8%. That's a step in the right direction. The prices of fuel are coming down considerably. Prices of food items, for God's sake, are also coming down. This takes time. Now, in respect of the fuel subsidy, which is not captured in any way in this budget, it will blow up the economy positively. That is exactly what will happen. The Niger Delta area, where we usually have issues, in respect of pipeline vandalism as well as oil theft, it has come down considerably. And that's why you see that ambitious, program of having 2.6 million as a benchmark. So things are going well. Definitely it will take some time. I believe the president knows what he is doing. The president is a thinker.
You see,
he knows exactly what he's doing and where we are going to.
Dr. Agbaka here, away from the numbers, you've mentioned what the GDP numbers are. You know, a lot of Nigerians will tell you that it's not about what the numbers are saying. It's not about the rebasing. It's not about, I mean, the figures according to NBS in terms of inflation. It's about what the average Nigerian feels. Like when you go on the street, what the average Nigerian is going through. Usually, Leo talked about being able to go to bed at least with, 1 square meal and all of that, healthy square meal and all of that. In your own view, what do you think that the government should be doing to ensure that this budget is effectively implemented? I mean, this time around, 2024, we know the issues with the budget. I mean, this is coming in March. So what would you want to see that, the government is doing differently, just so that, like you have said, this budget actually brings the transformation, or if you like, the restoration that it is projected to bring?
Well, I think this is a budget that will really empower Nigerians. It is now left for the president, lieutenants, like the ministers and head of agencies, to implement it properly and eschew, issues of corruption and mismanagement, which has in the past, been the bane, of our problem in this country. If that is done, this is a pretty good appropriation bill that covers entirely the entire, facets of our economic life. If it's handled properly, look at the solid mineral. Solid mineral is an untapped area in Nigeria. No wonder reasonable sum of money in the hundreds of billions, we are earmarked to that ministry. I know Dele Alake very well. He's a very capable individual. I believe solid mineral, will propel this economy. Agriculture will propel this economy. Livestock will propel this economy. So let's just watch and see. I believe by September of this year, there will be a difference.
Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Agbaka. We should watch and see, and there should be progress. I mean, well, that's the prayer of every Nigerian, that we should move forward. Yeshua, I mean, from what, the question she asked, and the issue of implementation now, which is very important now, what mechanism, because talking about the key implementation timelines and the milestones, for the budget, and how, the budget the progress need to be monitored. What mechanism do you think government should put in place for this?
Last year's budget, 2024, there was a critical decision which was not observed. That is, there should be a timely brief on budget execution, probably quarterly. And that's the job of the coordinating minister of the economy. This year, 2025, is going to be more beautiful for two reasons. One, even before the budget was accented by Mr. President last Friday, the amount of money shared from the Federation account, 1.7 trillion, showed that there is enough fund to put efficiency to the implementation of the budget, especially now that the President is looking into tax reform, which will bring additional revenue. And that is why I respect the National Assembly leadership for being more professional in their discharge of responsibility in handling the tax reform. Although when they listen more of hue and cries around the economy, they will have kept the tax reform away. But we need reform. You cannot reform tax. Tax is the base of any good governance. All economies without good tax system, they are in trouble. But any economy that subject the economy to high tax rate is also facing economic inefficiency. That is the challenge that is going to face it. But when you now check the tax base and then properly account for what is coming to government, you can design a budget implementation plan. Okay. That is one. Two, timely releases of capital. It's not good to release overhead, to release personnel, and abandon capital to the last. Capital in 2025, about 23 trillion. 23 trillion, assuming we are going to face with only 2 jobs, coastal highways, Lagos, Lagos Warri, Sokoto Badagry. That would change the whole scenario economically, because people don't understand what the efficiency of coastal roads. All imports, all exports, their efficiency depend on the road network from that axis, and then the distributive mechanisms. And if we are to put it more straightforward, if we can invest 15 trillion on a coastal highway, then we can even 50% of that amount to be put into railways. That will bring additional efficiency probably in 2026. I'm hoping the strategy embarked upon by this administration, especially like I mentioned, the tax reform and the provisions sectorally, if it is properly cash planned by the accountant general, that efficiency will begin to manifest, like rightly pointed out by Dr. George, because in a situation where critical infrastructures that are needed begin to manifest, jobs, new jobs will be coming in. And if new jobs is coming in, people are having new incomes. And if new incomes are coming, GDP is going to respond, because it's a combination of monetary values of what the state can do, what the individual can do, and what the private firms can do to an economy.
Many thanks, usually, because of time, we have to leave the conversation, at this point. So many issues to talk about. The coastal highway, like you tried to mention, it has an 8 years timeline, and hopefully the first phase will be done by May this year. Let's see how that goes, and hope that it begins to bring some of the benefits that you have talked about.
Yeah.
But it's a continuous conversation, of course. Would continue to talk about it in the coming days. So we thank you so much for joining us for the conversation.
Thank you very much.
Many thanks, Yushua Aliyu. He is an economist and always a guest on Good Morning Nigeria. And of course, Dr. George Agbakahi, public policy analyst, Southeast leader, Tinubu Support Organization. It was a pleasure to have you on the program.
Thank you very much for having me.
All right, so we have a second leg of the conversation this morning. You want to stay put for that one? Stay with us.
When we think about the digital economy, you can see it as the marketplace for digital goods and services. And increasingly, it's becoming a force to reckon with and an incredible contributor to economic growth, because we've seen the growth in technology and digital platforms. Technology has it really permeated every aspect of life and business, the way we live, the way we work. And when we talk about the digital economy, we're really talking about leveraging technology and digital platforms in a powerful way to drive growth, to drive solutions to problems, to drive applications, and to provide services.
The digital economy is something that has the potential to help Nigeria leapfrog a lot of its development challenges, right? Because think about what the mobile phone did for Nigeria years ago. That is the potential we have for digital, because it has a way of reducing the barriers to innovation. It has a way of being able to transform service delivery, whether it's government's delivery of services or whether it's services in the health system, where people can use digital to actually be able to see their patients better. But it takes a lot to realize that potential of digital. The first thing is like every other thing, there's an infrastructure you have to build to be able to make sure that digital economy can thrive. Think of something like, capturing that happens in Nigeria, right? Where you capture, people's biometric when they go for a driver's license, when they go for passports, and each of those are separate things. Imagine a system where be able to streamline that and actually have a platform that exchange biometric information that makes it easier for people to access passports, easier for people to register to vote. But today it's very tough, right? But those are basic infrastructure that needs to be invested in. A lot of it is through government and private sector collaborations to make it happen.
If we're looking to accelerate growth in the Nigerian space, we really need to look at enabling the digital economy. That includes providing digital infrastructure, connectivity, because that's the highway, like the highway that everything rides on. We need to think about digital capacity building in terms of the suppliers to the economy and also the consumers within the economy. So a robust digital literacy initiative. The good thing about technology is that, one, it helps you to transcend boundaries. Two, it creates a level playing field, really, because if you create a solution, a technology-based solution that is applicable in this environment, that same technology can be applicable, exported to other environments. And, technology platforms also help drive collaboration, right? When we're thinking about innovation, when we're thinking about business growth, collaboration is an important part of that. So when we think about the impacts with the rest of the world, we find that actually technology platforms are giving us an opportunity to engage more actively, to collaborate, to create partnerships, to even export our knowledge and services for people to engage with all the great things I'm talking about technology and digital platforms. They need access, internet access, broadband access. So we need to make sure that access is more available and affordable for the average user.
The most important thing is to think about where you want to go as a country and actually what type of policies are going to help get you there. There are examples of countries who've been able to transform using digital, for example. There are very clear things those countries did to be able to make it happen. So a lot of this, the pathway to be able to solve these problems are not mysterious, right? It takes courage of the policymakers to be able to understudy some of these things and bring in the policies that work to be able to help them.
It's that time of the year again, Ramadan, the holiest month in the Islamic calendar, a period of fasting, reflection, and prayer for Muslims around the world.
Yes, Yenre, a time of spiritual renewal, but also one that tests patience and discipline from dawn to sunset. No food, no drink, just devotion.
That patience. Oh, well. It's more than just abstaining from food. It's about self-control, compassion, and strengthening one's faith.
Absolutely. It's one of the 5 pillars of Islam, a core practice that connects millions of Muslims globally.
Here in Nigeria, Ramadan brings a unique sense of community, families coming together for suhoor and iftar, acts of charity and increased worship.
It is not without its challenges: long fasting hours, rising food prices, and the physical demands of daily life.
And that's what we'll be looking at in this segment of Good Morning Nigeria: the significance of Ramadan, its impact, and the experiences of those observing the fast.
So we are now being joined in the studio by Mustafa Agbarere, the Chief Imam, Peace Court Estate Mosque, Lokogoma. You're welcome.
Thank you for having me. Good morning, Nigerians.
All right. Also joining us right here for the conversation is Tajuddin Mohammed Adigun, Chief Imam, Wuse Zone 3, Jumat Mosque, and he's also the Chairman Committee of FCT Imams Initiative, CFII Abuja. Many thanks for joining us.
Thank you so much for having me. Good morning to all of you.
Looking radiant despite the fast, by the way.
Anyway, the fast just started, so let's wait for some days, and then we'll now come back and do the evaluation. Okay, let's start with Chief Imam Barere. Let's look at the spiritual significance of this Ramadan, and how does it relate to Islamic faith?
Yes, thank you. Looking radiant is part of Ramadan as well. You know, when you are fasting, you are patient. Nothing, you don't struggle. And when you don't struggle, you look calm. And that is what is reflecting in myself and my chief imam there.
Okay.
Now, thank you. Significance of Ramadan. Ramadan, just like you said in the intro, is a pillar of Islam, without which your own faith cannot be complete. We have 5 pillars: faith, establishment of prayer, giving out charity, that is zakat, then Ramadan, that is number 4, then Hajj. For Hajj, you may not even do it in your lifetime. For faith, it's compulsory. For Salat, it's compulsory. But the zakat, if you don't have the capacity, you may not do it. But Ramadan cuts across everybody.
It's a must.
It's a must. Those that are exempted also have a way of paying it back, like a lactating mother, a traveler, a sick person, and etc., etc. But let me tell you, Ramadan is a reflection of patent implementation of faith, patent that is showing it in the outer look. And also it's also a reflection of the inner rejuvenation of your spirit. That is what makes Ramadan special. It's special because Allah says, Kutiba alaykum siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. Fasting is made obligatory on you, same way that the people before you had done it by way of obligation. La'allakum tattaqun, so that you earn consciousness of God. Telling you that Buddhism, they fast. Christianity, they fast. And you have Lent now. And the Jew, they fast. So you also have in other religions. What Allah is saying is that people before you had done it. You have to do it in order for you to earn consciousness. Consciousness of God will come in so many ways. See the restraints. God is not with you. For prayer, nobody is teleguiding you. You may even say, I'm doing something, I will do my prayer much later. But in Ramadan, you must do it. You say it the other time, from dawn to sunset. But God is not there to teleguide you, to tell you that why are you doing another thing. But you have that fear, that piety, that is not seeing me. But for instance, again, I'm a new couple. With my wife, I just wed. I cannot have intimacy in Ramadan in the daytime, that particular hour. God is not there.
But you can have it in the night.
In the night. So lustful disposition is there in me. But yet, I have to contain myself and curtail. So that tells you that it is consciousness of piety of God. So that implementation, self-restraint, self-control, patience, forbearance, then finally charity, what you do outwardly, apart from your spiritual rejuvenation, outwardly, you do charity. Bonding is there, community bonding. You will make somebody that don't never like you to like you. You do Taraweeh together. So many things. So this is what I can just give you as an overview of what Ramadan signifies.
Many thanks, Mustafa Agbari, Ademola. After this program, you need to be sanctioned. I'm just thinking, why would you ask what about at night? I mean this 1 month. You have to be holy.
What do you mean? 1 month? I beg.
Anyways,
I hope you won't tell Mr. John that.
Anyways, let's get to Tajuddin Mohammed Adigu now. I mean, this is a beautiful month. Of course, it comes with so many benefits. But maybe you can tell us some of the risks, associated with fasting this period, and how Muslims can maintain their physical and mental well-being.
Well, we give thanks to Almighty Allah. Fasting, as has been said earlier by both of you and then my colleague, that is a command from God, the creator of all creations. It has existed as long as mankind. All generations fasted, and today we are fasting. It's not a new thing. There is no much of risk in fasting because the benefit you earn spiritually cannot be quantified. And also the benefits you earn socially cannot be quantified. It is an act whereby you come together to assist one another after getting that spiritual closeness to your Creator Allah. That's why, as quoted, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu kutiba alaykumus siyam kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum la'allakum tattaqun. O you who believe, fasting has been prescribed unto you as it was done to nations and generations before you. And the essence of that, the wisdom behind it, is for you to get God consciousness. It will make you to be closer to your fellow human beings, not even Muslims. It will make you to restrain from so many evils and criminalities. It connects you directly, your soul, with your Creator. It also creates love between you and others. And that's why what we are expected to do after this spiritualism is to make sure socially around you people know you are fasting. You assist those who are less privileged in the process of fasting. You accommodate those who may wrong you by forgiving them through your fasting. You are extra patient. You become actually a social person that can relate with the upper, the lower, the middle class, and everybody. Of course, at times those who are fasting, some of them may look a little in a state of not normal. When you greet him, of course, because of some difficulties he's facing, maybe give you some words that may not actually be matured enough. That is not recommended. That's why Rasulullah Sallam says, whosoever is fasting should be able to restrain himself from presenting an attitude that actually is not the norms. So fasting has no any much of risk, but rather it has so many benefits. Health-wise too, you are healthier when you are fasting. As regards to, jokingly, Allah legalized one to come to his spouse in the night of fasting. It is only the daytime that is restricted. Allah says, "Uhilla lakum laylatu siyam wa rafasu ila nisaikum," and that is chapter 2, verses 188 of the Quran.
Maybe you need to emphasize that for
yes, of course,
like
so that people will know that restraint of sexual contact in the daytime is legalized long as the sun is set until down also in the night time, which is about 13 hours now in Nigeria. So you see, that will not make any difference, but rather it will also make you closer to your family. But in the daytime, the restriction is for discipline. If you have been informed of a command, don't do this, and you abide with it, you become disciplined. And that discipline will be extended to your economic life, your social life, your political life, your everything life. In fact, among the benefits you are going to have in fasting is that it will reduce even corruption in the nation. Because if you restrain yourself from doing so many things that you have been commanded, then you will restrict yourself after Ramadan from doing so many things that are bad.
But all these virtues that you have highlighted, are they supposed to be just during the fasting period or supposed to be a lifelong, activity?
Yes, it should be extended beyond Ramadan, because Ramadan is just like a training ground. Shahr Ramadan, الذي أنزل فيه القرآن هدى للناس. It is the one that the Quran is revealed so as to serve as guidance and checking the excesses of those who are doing wrong. So if you have undergo a training, for instance, as a military personnel, you have been trained, the essence of the training is for you to come out of the training and then to use the training in developing your nation. So the essence of Ramadan is to train you in Ramadan. Within Ramadan, you are using the knowledge you have gotten, and then after Ramadan, beyond Ramadan also, you exhibit it. Because if you did not exhibit it after Ramadan, then the essence of Ramadan is not achieved in one.
Thank you very much, Chief Imam Tajuddin. That's supposed to be a way of life. Way of life. Now, let's look at Chief Imam Agbarere, balancing equations now. During this Ramadan period, we still have a lot of obligations that we carry out. How do you think Muslims should balance their fasting obligations with the demands of life? When we talk about demands of life, we are talking about people going to work, students going to schools, and so many other things that we are talking about now. Because we know that in some states, for instance, like 4 states they have declared a public holiday as a result of these Ramadan. So how do we balance, all these equations?
Well, the key word is what my colleague, the Chief Imam Adigun just said, discipline. Yes, there is nothing a human being cannot do if you are disciplined. Yuridu Allahu bikum al-yusra wala yuridu bikum al-usra. It is there in that same chapter 2 that Imam just cited. Allah wants ease for you in Ramadan. He doesn't want difficulty and hardship for you. Yes, we woke up this morning, we have done pre-dawn meal and prayers. We are here. As a lawyer, I'll go to my office and I have even a matter in court that I will go and join them to do. After which, other social engagement, daily life continues. Ramadan doesn't take anything off you. If you're disciplined, you take life. I wonder at times when I see people in the television that run like NTA, you run 24 hours. Some people are there in the night. You see them, they don't look tired. They still look radiant. They smile to people. It tells you that they are disciplined. See CNN, they run 24 hours, just like what we have here internationally. You see them as if they are in their daily life. So Ramadan doesn't take anything off you. It is just for you to prepare your routine, your daily routine. And they send it to friends nowadays that are read little Quran before the meal and do your nafila, that is early in the morning, in the pre-dawn. After the prayer too, sleep little, like 30 or 1 hour. Then you begin your daily life. My children have gone, my little kids have gone to school this morning. My wife watched over them, they bathed them, they did everything. Then go to work. In work, of course, we have some break in work as well. 1:30, we do our Zuhr prayer. So it doesn't take anything. It's still our normal life.
So what are your thoughts about, states that are declaring public holiday as a result? I mean, 4 states, Bauchi, Katsina, Kano, and Kebbi states have declared public holiday for schools. And I know that in the coming days, there are some states that will also declare public holiday for workers.
Thank you. You see, my mom just said something the other time, which I like. He said that some people may react in bad ways during Ramadan because of the pangs of the hunger and thirst. Let me tell you, some states, see yesterday we were 39 degrees in Abuja, Celsius. Some states in the far north, like that Bauchi, they may be 40 something. They want to, because teachers are human, what are they going to impact on the children? If they are not, let's say the children are not fasting, but those teachers, they are experiencing 40 something Celsius degree in the, in the weather. At that point in time, many of them would not be able to impact.
So what do you think the economic impact will be?
Yes, the economic impact, like Imam said the other time, I will still be drawing from him. In the economy, we are talking about preservation. You don't consume large. What you lose here, you bake it up in the other side. Some people eat 5 cycles a day. But in Ramadan, you eat little. You save. That saving that you are saving is for another day. So they lose in some area if they see that, they close the school because of the health challenges. Because I'm not saying that they do it just because they want to give people freedom in Ramadan. They think, that these governors, many of them will have consulted their council before they do that.
Okay.
Because of weather, it might be tough for some people. By 2 o'clock or 3, you see some people, they will just be like this. So, and it is not that they are faking. It might be because of what they are experiencing and coupled with the weather. It is different if you are in London. If you are in, even in London, see at times they will say some people, when they are having longer days, they will say, okay, at some point in time, you have to regulate it and say, okay, when you do it to this particular time, try to break.
Okay.
So that is what they are experiencing in that type of in that side of the.
That is talking about the health implication now, or during this Ramadan period, because there will be some health challenges, and people may face, during this period. How can, these challenges be mitigated? How do you advise that those who are observing the Ramadan stay hydrated, especially during this fasting period?
Yes, in Ramadan you are expected to break your fast with water. Yes, health-wise, so don't just eat amala pounded yam, when you are fasting, the Prophet says that the best thing to do is fruit and water. And that is what Allah has provided. When you hydrate yourself with that, you see it and drink more water, fluid in the night. You see our people, they will do pap. So those that can sustain you in the day, don't expose yourself too much to sun. Try to stay indoor, be in the mosque, reflect, read the Al-Quran. You can do it. As we are doing it now, in fact, you get better. I said it the other time. I feel even more light during Ramadan than after Ramadan. My tummy will have shoot out. Will have shooted out if I'm not in Ramadan. But now, even these 3 days that I've done, I realize that I'm coming lighter.
You're looking prim and proper.
Thank you. So it helps. It even rejuvenates, gives you some strength in your brain. Because when you deny yourself little, there is a joke. Somebody told me that though you might not have religious connection, they say when God created soul, he says soul worship me. Soul said no, I'm not going to, because soul is enjoying. By the time God said, okay, angel, deny that soul of food, drink and everything for 2 days. They say, who is your Lord? He said, you are my Lord, just give me something to eat. So that tells you that we live with little, not with all foods. When you take little, you see that you are healthy, you are better. So don't be a gourmand. So that is just my
all right, Chief Imam Adigun, as we begin to round off this conversation, tell us what charity and zakat, the role of charity and zakat, in all of this during Ramadan. And then, are there a category of people that are exempted from this fast? Or is it that, everybody must take part in this fast?
Yes, there are those who are exempted for fasting because Allah said He meant ease for us and not difficulty, as quoted by our Imam. Yuridullahu bikum al-yusr wa la yuridu bikum al-usr. Allah intends ease for you and not difficulty. That is why Allah has exempted some groups. He said in verses 184 of chapter 2 of the Quran, He said, "Ayyamun ma'adudatin, faman kana minkum maridan aw ala safarin, fa iddatun min ayyamin ukhar." This fasting is just few number of days, 1 month. Allah could have made it 6 months, like the fasting of David alayhi salatu wasalam. It's a day fasting, by day fasting. You fast today and you rest tomorrow. Fast today, that's his own. But our own is only 1 month out of the 10 months. So it is few days, and that few days too, Allah is so merciful that He exempted those who are on a journey. And then He exempted those who are ill. He exempted women who are in their period. He's also exempted those who are aged, those who cannot fast when they're 90, 95, they cannot fast, but they pay back. That's where the area of feeding comes compulsorily. For those who are exempted permanently, that they cannot be able to fast, those ones will feed. They will ransom that fasting by feeding those who are poor. Now on daily basis. If it is 30 days you miss on a journey, you pay the 30 days. If it is 25, you pay. For those who are permanently unable, they feed on daily basis. While others are fasting, they are feeding. That also becomes a way of socializing and then bringing people together to be brothers and to love one another. Because by feeding somebody who doesn't have, he will be closer to you. He will pray to you. He will pray for you, and then he will like you. Also, the zakat we have mentioned is of two types. The zakat that is a pillar itself, some have decided to be given their zakat in this month, which is a pillar of Islam. And the one that cannot fast is also given that charity of feeding. And there are those who are also encouraged. After the fasting itself, you are expected also to feed. Don't claim that since I'm fasting, so there will no feeding. No, it's not compulsory on them, but also it's appreciated for them to give to those who don't have, and especially in this month of fasting. Let me add a little to the area of education for some states who may decide to change their calendars. It may look odd to those who are far, and there are so many approaches to it. The calendar I read of some states is that after making the reduction of the weeks of about 3 weeks, they join that week with the next term coming. The next term coming in those states, their term is going to be between 15 and 16 weeks. They pay it back, which means it's not only going free to affect the curriculum of the nation. All the same, they may take another alternative. That since it is fasting hours, let us give orientation to people to know that this fasting is coming with discipline. Maintain it at its ease, and then you get more reward from it. That also can be done. But if one is to talk one-on-one with them, they may give so many excuses and reasons why this is established.
Okay, thank you very much. Chief Imam Agbarere, let's look at the social and community aspect of this Ramadan. How does Ramadan bring, Muslims together as a community, and what are some of the ways to promote unity and solidarity, especially during this period?
Thank you so much. We need to live in peace with one another, not only Muslims and Muslims, but even with other religious adherents in the community. You see, Ramadan has come to engender that bond, even more than any other thing, any other time. Food, especially, we are expected in Ramadan to give a fasting person what he will use to break fast, because you're going to get the reward of the fasting. Prophet says that man aftara musliman sa'iman falahu mislu ajri hadha sahim min ghairi an yankusa min ajri shay'an. He that gives feeding to a fasting Muslim will have the reward of that fasting Muslim, and that fasting person who you break his fast, he will not lose his own reward from Allah. So you are going to have two. So now imagine if I give fast iftar to 1,000 people. I'm going to have 1,001 rewards. And those people will also not lose theirs. So in Ramadan, we are expected to give iftar to people. Not only iftar. When you do iftar, like I told you the other time, that person will like you. A person that eats your food will definitely like you. It is when you deny. See what the presidency were doing the other time. When they were doing some palliatives, they started sharing foods, because they knew that it is not about money. When you give them money, they will spend it now. But when you give me 25 kg of rice, which is the half of that 50 kg, I may even eat it 10, 15 days. But if you give me that 30,000 naira, of course, it might not take me forever. So what I'm saying is food is key. That will bring bonding. We have other social bondings that we have been doing before, but not as that of Ramadan. Juma prayer is a social connection. We have Hajj, which we do in lifetime. Everybody will go and converge on the Mount Arafah. All of them in unison. So they are doing that. But that of Ramadan cuts across the globe. Not that I'm going to Hajj, not that I will go to your own Juma, but in my own community, in my neighborhood, I will do iftar to people. I invite people in my community. My wife do, Abi does, other communities also do. So with that, we circulate that love among ourselves. So after that too, we also go for Taraweeh, the prayer that we establish after the Isha prayer, the night prayer. We also come together. You see in Taraweeh nowadays, people will bring water. When you get to the interval, you see the people, service men in the mosque, they will share water. I wonder where these waters were coming. They say people will bring them. I drink. If you give a person water, you have radiated him. You have given him some sort of a relief. So that reward is also there. You will like that person. So we want what we do in Ramadan in terms of community bonding to continue and endure after Ramadan. People are wicked. Wickedness is what is giving us all these criminalities that you have around. All those boys you see around, many of them have not eaten. So it is because of their hunger that the evil inside them will evoke. And they will say, oh, I will go and break a car. I will go and break a house so that I will get something. In fact, little that you give them in terms of food may take them forever. So that is one of the benefits, social benefits of Ramadan, which you hardly can get anytime. I will allude more to what Imam said. After Ramadan, let it continue. People think Ramadan is just a cycle that I will do, and after Ramadan, we close it up.
So
no,
it should become a lifestyle.
It should become a lifestyle, a pattern that you do every time. Don't say after Ramadan, I will not give people food. No, feed people. Establish, send to your villages. Allah says, give the kit and king. When you give those that are close to you, you also give those your family.
Are there some culture or traditions, that we observe here that may actually hinder us from taking part in Ramadan?
Like what? Some traditions. There is no any tradition that will take you not to do Ramadan. Like we said, Ramadan is a must, a fasting, except those that are exempted. There is no any culture that you will do that will not make you do Ramadan.
All right.
It cuts across the globe. Everybody will fast.
Many thanks, Chief Imam Akbari. We're rounding off now. Chief Imam Adigun, I'd like to hear your final thoughts, and I would like you to also speak to non-Muslims, what the expectation is from non-Muslims. I mean, this period of Ramadan, what does an average Muslim expect, another person who is not fasting, to do at this point in time?
Yes, thank you so much. The area of fasting, as regard to Muslims, I will urge them to be more patient. Fasting is rewarding highly. It makes them closer to God. It reforms them. It brings out the best out of them. It makes them to be ideal, to be responsible, to be disciplined. In fact, to have concern for themselves, for their family, for their nation. And towards their neighbors who are non-Muslims, they should respect them highly more, because their tolerance with you fasting, it may not be the time for their fasting. That doesn't make any difference. You actually are having this idea of fasting. You shouldn't see them as different. They may also have their own time of fasting. In fact, for those who don't even fast at all, it's not an issue that should be between, but rather it should be an issue that you are disciplined, and that your discipline will extend to them through your actually good attitude. You respect them, you honor them. In fact, have time to discuss your fasting with them. Tell them the benefits you have in this fasting. I'm happy when the DG, State Service, actually organized breaking fast for the Muslim and non-Muslims alike. And the crowd is a very big one. And he said publicly that he too is fasting. He said his religion also has commanded him to fast. And that was supposed to be so that we tolerate one another, we love one another, we assist one another, we advise one another, we see one another as friends, building the same nation. Because Allah did not make mistake by creating us from different religions. And in fact, Islam is that religion that has extended hand of friendship to all by saying, Lakum dinakum waliyadin. You have your religion, he has his own religion. So to me, I believe Muslims have a good time to be able to explain, to be able to draw closer, to be able also to assist non-Muslims at this point in time. And they will know the assistance came through the spiritual closeness of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to them in this one particularly.
Thank you very much, Chief Imam Tajuddin. Okay, let's have your parting shots now, just in 30 seconds.
Okay, two things. Number one, we shouldn't forget Nigeria. We should pray for Nigeria. This is the month of prayer. Number two, we should be patient. Nothing is hard forever. We should be patient with government policies. You see now, we have rice that was selling 120 before, is now selling for 50-something thousand, 58, 60. We should have belief that with prayer, with patience, things will go back to normal. We are going to enjoy our country. We should pray for our leaders. We should pray for our communities. That is my.
All right. Looks like we still have some minutes, or if you like, some seconds to spare. So, Chief Imam Adigun, would like to hear your final words. Of course, this time around, maybe you want to speak to our leaders. I mean, our leaders are also fasting. For those who are Muslims, what you expect them to do, this time.
I think my colleague has mentioned prayers for the nation, which is key. Really, we don't have alternative to this nation. Nigerians are going to be in Nigeria. Even if they go abroad, they are not actually inhabitants of that land. So I believe that prayers is key. To our leaders, they should use this month of Ramadan to have more mercy to Nigerians in their decision making. Because leaders in Islam are there to serve their subjects. And the very moment they are discharging their responsibility with mercy, Allah will have mercy on them. And Allah will give them wisdom. Allah will guide them. Allah will put them through. Allah will protect them. Allah will make them comfortable. So I will advise our leaders to in this particular month of Ramadan, to be more merciful. Anything they know is going to be of actually ease for Nigerians, regardless of actually whatsoever, they should endeavor to sacrifice and do it.
Thank you so much. Fine point to leave the conversation. Tajuddin Muhammad Adigun, Chief Imam, who says on 3. And Jumat Mosque, and also Chairman Committee of FCT Imams Initiative, CFII Abuja. Many thanks for being our guest, and wish you the very best all through the month of Ramadan. And of course, Mustafa Akbari, Chief Imam, Peace Quarter State Mosque, Loko Goma. Thank you so much for being our guest again. We appreciate you. Keep radiating like this.
Yes.
And of course, I would love to see you when it's day 28 or day 30 of the fast.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
All right. So that's Good Morning Nigeria this Monday. It's the first for the week. Tomorrow is another day. Join us again. I'm Yen Ray John.
And I'm Ademola Ade. We appreciate your company on the program. Do have a great day.